Confidence is built, not found. Stop waiting to feel confident. Yes, stop waiting. Because confidence is not something you magically wake up with one day. Confidence is not hiding somewhere waiting for you to find it. Confidence is built one step at a time, one decision at a time, one small win at a time. So if you've been saying, I'll start when I feel confident, this message is for you. Welcome to In Her Next Chapter. Daily motivation for women who are rebuilding, healing, and learning how to step into the woman they are becoming. Today, we're talking about something so many women wait for before they move confidence. But here is the truth confidence does not come before action. Confidence comes because of action. Let me ask you something. How many times have you talked yourself out of doing something because you didn't feel ready? You wanted to start the business, you wanted to post the video, you wanted to apply for the job, you wanted to speak up, you wanted to create the product, you wanted to start over. But then fear showed up and said, you're not ready. You don't know enough. What if people judge you? What if you fail? What if you embarrass yourself? And just like that, you waited. You told yourself, when I feel more confident, I'll do it. But listen to me carefully. That is the trap. Because confidence does not grow in waiting, confidence grows in movement. You don't become confident by thinking about the thing. You become confident by doing the thing, even scared, even nervous, even unsure, even before you feel fully prepared. Because every time you take action, you teach yourself something powerful. You teach yourself, I can try. You teach yourself, I can learn. You teach yourself, I can survive being uncomfortable. You teach yourself, I don't have to be perfect to begin. And every time you prove that to yourself, your confidence gets stronger. Not all at once, but little by little. That first post you make, that builds confidence. That first video you record, that builds confidence. That first time you speak up for yourself, that builds confidence. That first product you create, that builds confidence. That first step after a hard season, that builds confidence. Confidence is not built by waiting for fear to disappear. Confidence is built when you move while fear is still standing there. Because fear may be loud, but it does not have to be in charge. You can be afraid and still begin. You can be unsure and still take the next step. You can be nervous and still show up. You can be learning and still be worthy of trying. And that is what many people misunderstand about confidence. They think confident women never feel fear. No, confident women have simply learned not to let fear make every decision. They feel the fear and they do it anyway. They feel nervous and they show up anyway. They feel unsure and they keep learning anyway. They don't wait until everything is perfect. They start with what they have. They start with the phone in their hand, the idea in their heart, the lesson they learned, the experience they survived, the skill they already carry. And as they move, they grow. As they grow, they believe. As they believe, they become stronger. That is how confidence is built. So today, I want you to stop asking, am I confident enough? Start asking, what small step can I take today? Because small steps matter. You may not be ready to launch the whole business, but can you write the first idea down? You may not be ready to go live for 1 hour, but can you record a 30-second video? You may not be ready to create a full course, but can you outline your first lesson? You may not be ready to tell your whole story, but can you write one paragraph? You may not be ready to change your whole life overnight, but can you make one decision that supports your future? That is where confidence starts. Not in the big dramatic moment, but in the small quiet decision that says, I'm going to try anyway. And let me tell you something else. You do not need to feel fully ready to be obedient to your growth. You do not need to know everything to start. You do not need to have all the answers to move forward. You do not need to be perfect to be powerful. You only need to be willing. Willing to learn, willing to start messy, willing to grow in public, willing to make mistakes and keep going, willing to become a beginner again. Because starting before you feel ready is not weakness, it is courage. And courage is where confidence begins. Every woman you admire had a first step, a first video, a first post, a first product, a first conversation, a first uncomfortable moment. She was not born knowing how to do everything. She started, she learned, she adjusted, she kept going. And that is what separated her from the version of herself that stayed stuck. Not perfection, movement. So, no, you may not feel confident today, but you can still take action today. You can still make the call. You can still write the plan. You can still create the content. You can still apply. You can still pray and move. You can still begin again. Because the more you show up for yourself, the more you begin to trust yourself. And that trust becomes confidence. Confidence is not saying, I know everything. Confidence is saying, I can figure it out. Confidence is not saying, I will never fail. Confidence is saying, if I fall, I can rise again. Confidence is not saying, I am never afraid. Confidence is saying, fear is here, but I am moving anyway. That is real confidence. The kind that is built through action, the kind that grows through consistency, the kind that becomes stronger every time you refuse to quit on yourself. So today, stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting to feel fearless. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Stop waiting for someone to give you permission. You build confidence by doing, by trying, by learning, by showing up, by giving yourself proof that you can keep going. One small win at a time, one brave step at a time, one I did it anyway moment at a time. You are not behind, you are building. You are not weak. You are growing. You are not unqualified. You are learning. And the woman you are becoming is waiting on you to move. So here is your challenge today. Do it anyway, even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble, even if you don't feel ready, even if it is not perfect. Take one small step today. Post the video, write the idea, start the plan, make the call, create the first page, show up for yourself because confidence is not found. Confidence is built. And it starts when you decide, I may not feel ready, but I'm doing it anyway. Share this with a woman who needs the courage to start before she feels confident. And remember, your next chapter is built one brave step at a time. Subscribe and follow me for more motivational tips for women who are rebuilding and starting over.